Oh my God.
I don't want to hear that, but I
That's
know he's
going
gonna
on,
play
bro.
it. I
But
know he's gonna
again,
play it,
extremely
but
dated.
I hate that song.
That's what I was saying. 2010, extremely dated, but that song is banging at the Super Bowl. It's going up at the Super Bowl. Like you can hate it how much you will hate it,
No, it's
but
I know he's gonna play it. I know he's gonna play it. There's no way around that. He's definitely gonna play it. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
I'd rather he not, but he's
DJ got
going
us
to.
falling in love on the dance floor. Come on.
We're not. That's if he plays that, we might have to trade Usher from the black community.
Welcome everybody back to Sound Bites, the part of the Album Mode podcast where we're looking at the music, the culture, and the internet and how those things all intertwine to create the music culture that we have today. Back is DeMar Grant, aka King Grant, aka the Bunny, with with my co-host, co-creator, Adriel Smiley, aka Adriel Smiley Official, aka the Godfather. Adriel, we're back. This time, this time we're just looking at the. Do you want to start with a TikTok top 10 or do you want to start with Drake versus Charlamagne?
We can start with TikTok. Drake and Charlamagne is what it is.
So we're back doing the TikTok top 10. Something that the Billboard's TikTok top 10, right? Something concept that we have joked about for a year, maybe, or even 2 years.
Yeah.
Where we just like, oh yeah, this thing is at the top of the TikTok charts, or this is sizzling on the TikTok charts. And now they've actually introduced the TikTok charts. So this is something we're obviously fascinated by because they're like, okay, one of our ideas came to life. Let's see how
Basically.
like things actually progress on it. How are we gonna tackle this? We're gonna do number 10 to number one, or we're gonna do number 1 to number 10. We're gonna
I
do
I feel like we should start at the top because
okay.
going through all 10 could be cumbersome.
Yeah.
Well, for two things I want to mention. This is actually a top 50, so we're gonna only do the top 10, but this
Yeah.
is actually a top 50 ranking that says a weekly ranking of the most popular songs on TikTok in the US based on creations, video views, and user engagement. So this is also a very American based
Yeah, region
chart.
locked.
Very regional chart. Why I like this chart a lot, we talked about it, you're right, basically for 2 years, is that this is not only new songs on this chart. Now, of course, older songs can chart on a regular Billboard 200 or the Hot 100, but that's more rare.
Mm-hmm.
This chart is kind of based more off of online on TikTok specifically. A lot of older songs we've seen on TikTok have a resurgence pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of what I'm looking at is which older songs are going to get a jump from this TikTok chart and how much weight will that hold? Because I think it took a lot for a song to get, resurfaced enough to make the Hot 100.
Yeah.
That took a lot. This is different. You don't really got to be the biggest song in the world to make this TikTok chart. So
Yeah,
that's what
you
I'm paying
could
attention to.
you could be super hot because I'm thinking about past old songs that became like
Mm-hmm.
really popular, like free what is it, like Free Bird? I think
Oh
the
yeah,
Free Bird became like really popular. Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill became really popular,
had a moment.
right? And
The
then there
Fleetwood
was
Mac
that.
song too.
Sorry.
The Fleetwood Mac song
Yeah,
too.
the Fleetwood Mac track also, I can't remember the name of it right now, but that
I
one
think it's
also became super, super, super popular, right? So that's where, everything that we mentioned is why the TikTok charts fascinate us because also there's just like random tracks that'll just like pop up out of nowhere. Like,
mm-hmm.
there was that like that. Remember that meme about like the sex song that like, dun, 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 dun. Do you remember that?
No, I don't think
It was
so.
like MBAT something, right? Where this guy
Mm-hmm.
would just put this guy who told this story on Reddit where he would have this specific song that he would him and his girlfriend or fiance would have sex to, and it was actually just like one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my entire life. And was it's not just me. Everybody had the same opinion. But the song ended up being everywhere. So it's funny to see like, there's like the mimetic properties of music, and TikTok is the progenitor of a lot of it. So I that's why we're tapped into this. So this week that just passed, we're gonna figure out the week. I think the week starts on Saturday. Starts on Sunday or Saturday for TikTok. I mean
Let
for
me
Billboard.
let me pull up my calendar. It starts on Saturday.
It starts on Saturday. Right. So last week's top 10. Number 1, it's What's Up Gway by Famous Sally and YB. What am I pronouncing that? What's Up?
There's not a question mark in the name of the artist, just for anyone who's wondering. That was Damar questioning his
It's
pronunciation.
like what the fuck? You mean the
What's up, go
pronunciation,
away?
you do the
I
pronunciation.
say it like kind of like how Jamaica would say it, like
Okay.
go away, like what's up,
Okay.
go away.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the name of the track. I have actually seen it. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen the performance of it. Like I've seen the video of one of the artists performing it, but I have not. It has not crossed the algorithm, and then this is also going to be a test of like, okay, whose algorithm is tapped in?
Mm-hmm.
Like who is really tapped in, and also, is it really legitimate? Like that's what the thing is about this chart. There's so many questions that happen with this chart, but that song is number 1. I've only seen it a handful of times. I have not seen any memes about it. I haven't seen any I haven't seen any edits or
Mm-hmm.
anything, but somehow it's number 1. How do you feel?
Uh, I think this chart is gonna have a mix of validity and the opposite, because I think
Mm-hmm.
a song like this being number one raised some eyebrows. Of course, it's having its kind of moment online.
Mm-hmm.
They have 300,000 monthly Spotify listeners, but they
Mm-hmm.
only have 2 songs on their Spotify. The
Mm-hmm.
song Head Attack, which was released in August of 2023, and then this song What's Up, Go Away, excuse me, which was released
It's What's Up G Way.
G-Way. Oh,
Yeah.
like, okay, that makes sense. Shout out to G-Way, all my Scarborough people who know about G-Way.
Yeah.
Um, so they only have 2 songs. This song What's Up G-Way has 1 million streams
Yep.
on Spotify, which in the grand scheme of things, most number one songs on any chart have more than a million streams. So I think starting there is going to be interesting to see how people treat this chart, because we're not familiar with this artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people listening to this are not familiar with this artist. From the Spotify stream, this song doesn't seem to be streaming extremely well.
Yeah.
So what do we make of this? Because there are songs that are going to come after this that actually are doing really well.
Right.
So yeah, very interesting.
So yeah, I don't really know what to make of it right now. This is the second week of of the chart's existence. So we're early on this, right?
Mhm.
And like we are with a lot of things. We're early on a lot of shit that ends up getting that ends up getting super
Literally.
important. So, but yeah, I'm already quizzical. I'm already skeptical. Already dubious. I'm already,
Yep. Yep.
there's already suspect. But it is number 1 this week. Number 2 is Ski by Sexy Red.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, from my perspective, from what I've seen and heard on the interwebs in real life, song is still banging. It is going up. Like
Yep.
Ski is going crazy right now. And shout out to her for actually just like wearing her glasses like 24/7. Like she actually just wears. She's like Velma, bro. She's like
I
blind
rate it.
without them.
I rate it. Yeah.
So Ski is number 2.
Yeah. Ski, a lot of people are saying a song of the summer. Ski was number one on the first week of this chart.
Mm-hmm.
Fall down a spot to number 2. I think it's good to put Ski with the next song, Paint the Town Red, Doja Cat, number 3,
Yeah.
last week's number 2. Those 2 songs are charting well outside of this chart,
Mm-hmm.
doing well outside of this chart. Paint the Town Red, I think, is probably the biggest commercial success on this chart right now. Just to give people an idea, it's number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. It peaked at number 1, it's been on the chart for 7 weeks. It's number 1 on the global 200 chart. So this is an example of a song that is doing well on this chart, but actually doing well outside as well. Ski, I think, is the kind of song this chart is made for,
Yeah.
because Ski is probably a song of the summer, but let's say it lightly, it's a certain demographic that is probably not aware of Ski at all. But for a different demographic, Ski is that song. When that
Yeah.
plays, out, that's what everyone wants to hear. And on the actual like Billboard Hot 100, where we usually measure success, Ski is 74,
Right.
and their peak position was 66. But again,
Yeah.
if you go outside and you're at a party, Ski don't sound like no song at 74 on the chart. So
Mm-hmm.
I think this chart, the TikTok chart we've been talking about for a long time, is made for a song like Ski, where Ski might top this TikTok chart, but the more general, mainstream chart
Yeah.
may not get that high.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what? The TikTok chart might be just like, yo, what's happening outside? Like, what's going up outside? It feels like maybe
We'll
that's
see.
where that I think that's our challenge is trying to figure out what exactly it's measuring. Like, obviously, it's measuring,
Mm-hmm.
what's getting interactions and shit on TikTok, but in reality, what is it actually gripping at?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think is probably the most important. I think okay, so number three, we might have to number three. We talked about this, paint the town red.
Yeah.
Um, I think we were gonna end up seeing this with I think this song and
Mm-hmm.
Agora. Sorry, was it Amora or Agora Hills?
Agora Hills, yeah.
Agora Hills are gonna flip. Like I feel like that one is just gonna be coming up it's gonna have like a bubbling type of presence on this
Mm,
chart because I think it's the best song and I think a lot of people are considering it the best song too on the interwebs, right? And this is what the chart is measuring. So I feel like that's gonna come up number four. Okay, number four is where I'm starting to get back into the place of being quizzical. Where number four is Epiphany by Chrisette Michelle.
mm-hmm.
Never heard the song before in my life.
You've definitely heard the song before.
Never heard the
You've
song before in my
definitely
life.
maybe I would be surprised you haven't heard the song before in your life.
I've never
Um,
heard it before. Um.
yeah, one I do think you have heard it, so maybe while I'm talking, take time to
Oh
listen
wait,
to
no,
it.
no, 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 no. I've heard this. Wait, this is like a TikTok anthem.
So,
You know.
anyways, that's kind of what I'm saying is like this is where we start to see the older songs come back because
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
saw this on the chart, I said this is a new Chrisette Michelle. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that, like this is a new song. I go and listen to it, the same Chrisette Michelle. This is probably the Chrisette Michelle song you think of that's actually a solo song. She has a lot of big features with
Mm-hmm.
Nas and Jay-Z when she was kind of in her prime, but this song out of '09 is probably the solo Chrisette Michelle song. But you're
Yeah.
right, it's coming back. A Lotus Fitness on TikTok is now showing up in a lot of videos. But I
It's a
think
dance challenge. It's a thirst trap dance challenge on the internet right now.
I'm sure Chrisette Michelle had plans for that when she created the song over a decade ago. But I think and I think we got to move these next songs pretty quickly. But I think this is maybe what we have to gather from this
Mm-hmm.
is how we can decide what the biggest songs are. Is maybe a song that's on the top of this chart, the TikTok top 50, and the Hot 100.
Okay.
Like see if there's a mix there because I don't know how far we have to go to see a song like Slime You Out. Like
Right.
Slime You Out may be number one on the Hot 100, but it's nowhere to be found on this TikTok top 50. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that kind of matches what we feel about that song. So I think that adds up right there. Number 5 on here, I Love You Ho, a song I'm really not familiar with. Yeah. Do you know anything about this song? Because I'm definitely not familiar.
No, no, and I think oh yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. And now this is getting really funny. I think we're gonna have to really listen to these songs before they chart. Like, give it another listen because
Mm-hmm.
what happens on TikTok is that songs get condensed into 15 seconds, 30 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll know a song by how it sounds, but not by its name. Like, I don't think anybody is really saying Chrisette's name when it
Yeah.
comes to that song. I'm leaving currently today, right? When it came out like 15 years ago, I think. Yeah, people were associating with her, and today it's kind of just like a song, right? And this other song, I Love You Ho. This is like um TikTok edit fodder. I've seen so many edits with this song on it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Just like edits of so much like just like random stuff. Like you see like sports
Of
edits with
anything,
this.
literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sports edits with this, Franklin Saint edits with this, like
Fight
anything.
edits.
Yeah. So I think what's gonna have to happen, sorry. What I think is going to have to happen is we gotta go back and like re-listen every week to the songs to just
Mm-hmm.
get it's like, oh yeah, it's that one part, that fits into TikTok,
True, yeah.
right? Because on the other list, you're like, oh, you see the name, you see the title, and you're like, oh yeah, I heard that song, I heard that song, I heard that song. But this
Mm-hmm.
is like you've only heard 15 seconds of it, and you probably didn't
Yeah.
even see the name, right? For something like Ski, the part that's popular is the ski part, so you know the name of it. But the other ones, they're not as like directly associated with a recognizable artist. So when they
Mm-hmm.
chart, it's kind of hard to remember. It's like, wait, what does that song sound like? But this
Who's
song is
that?
like you heard it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is going to be a leading thing with this. This is also the first time we're ever really like talking about charts in depth like this. So it's going to
Yeah.
be, for everybody listening, it's going to be a process, and everything will be time stamped. Everything will be time stamped in the
You're so
description.
funny.
So this is a learning. This is the first time we're ever doing something like this, but things will be time stamped.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
not gonna go over 10 songs, I think,
Yeah.
every week. I think we'll have some highlights, but definitely not gonna
Yeah.
go over like 10 songs.
Yeah. Okay. So the number 6 is I Remember Everything, right? By Zach Bryan. And this
Mm-hmm.
is where what we're talking about, where like I feel like there's gonna be times where songs that are kind of outside of our purview
Mm-hmm.
are gonna be on here and be like, what the fuck are we talking about right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if you listen to Zach. I don't know how much of Zach Bryan you're listening to in your life.
No, I'm
Not
not
very
bumping
much.
Zach
I
Bryan
don't
like
think.
that.
Yeah, but I already know this song is hot, right? Because I
Mm.
I am not a country listener, but I'm aware. Shout out to my grandfather who bangs country music 24/7, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm aware of Zach Bryan, and yeah. So this is what's gonna start happening also on this chart is that because of TikTok being such, you're like siloed. If you're on Book Talk, Premier League Talk, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
there's something will be popping in that zone, right? But if you're not into the Premier League, whatever track is popping in Premier League TikTok, you're just not hearing it,
Yeah.
right? So that's what's gonna happen with like songs like this Zach Bryan track. You and I are not in, like Western TikTok, Midwest, anything
Mm-hmm.
Midwest. I don't see ranching on my on my TikTok. I don't,
Not in
but
your algorithm.
but it's good. I bet you this is like the theme song to like
Mm.
ranching or like shooting guns or some shit like that,
Yeah.
right? Like it's more of like a Western or Southern type of space.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's what we're gonna start seeing, I think.
This song to me is more like a Paint the Town Red, where this song is popular in real life. Like this is a
Mm-hmm.
song that got popular in real life and happens to be popular on TikTok as well. And I think there's less of those on this chart than probably any chart that's like this. Of like, this is like anyone knows about Casey Musgraves. Casey Musgraves is absolutely the truth. Zach Bryan is very popular. And this is a song that is popular in real life already,
Mm-hmm.
and it's popular on TikTok is kind of ancillary to the actual popularity of the song. Kind of like Paint the Town Red, where, Paint the Town Red being number 3 on this chart
Mm-hmm.
means nothing to being number 1 on the actual Hot 100.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's going to be a few songs like this where it might not be on our algorithm and maybe not even in our real life algorithm, but, this song is actually popular in real life because you talk about the number 1 song on this chart. We didn't really know that song. We know that song from seeing it online,
Yeah.
but we don't know that song in terms of hearing it with our friends, hearing it at parties, hearing it outside, compared to a song like, this song with Zach Bryan, I Remember Everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's a song that people are probably hearing outside way more than the number 1 song on this chart.
Right.
And so I think there's something there. Speaking of hearing something outside,
Mm-hmm.
number 7 on this chart, Delhi. I feel like this is Ice Spice's chart. Like she's doing well on the Hot
Yeah, it will
100,
be.
but this is gonna be an Ice Spice chart, and something where she want to be on top of this at all times. And I'm really interested to see how this chart manifests in terms of artists' actual success. You know, I think we're gonna see a lot of artists who this charting that they have will be like their only accolade.
Mm-hmm.
Like we won't be hearing
Mm,
from them, much after this. I think that's gonna be a lot of artists on this chart where I was, top 12 on the TikTok top 50, and
mm-hmm.
that's it. You go to the song on Spotify, not a lot of people are banging it. People don't know the artist. This is and so it's like this will I think for this reason become, I don't want to say a useless accolade, but one that doesn't carry as much weight because you're gonna see artists who you've never heard of, don't know none of their music, on in their Instagram bio,
Right.
TikTok top 10, 3 weeks in a row or whatever it is. So I think that's where we're headed with this. But Deli's a confusing song to me, but I think it speaks to the power of Ice Spice that we've seen over the past year or so. But this one I think would be one that I would have guessed to be on this chart.
Yeah, me too. It's at number 7. I think it's I would say it's on the decline though, because it came out a while ago. And
Mm-hmm.
also is like not her best song. Like I just feel like considering the other ones that were hot and popping, this one is
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like lackluster in comparison. But it seemed when it came out, see that's the thing. Like this, I feel like this chart came out just too late for this year. Like if it dropped at the beginning of the summer or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then we'd be like all over it. I feel like it would be so much like it'd be gauging something that's so important, which is like music during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's at the beginning of fall, and now we're getting things are winding down and such. But Delhi number 7, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is by J Dash, is by J. It's called WAP.
Yep.
And this is I'm trying to think of back when I first heard this song. I
Crazy.
think this was back in like
2010.
yeah, it was back in 2010. It was back in 2010 the last time I heard this track, and I cannot believe that it's like becoming an internet thing again. I just can't believe it.
I can't believe this track is
But it's a
back.
fun dance. I mean, it's a fun dance track, so it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on to the next. We don't have to talk, we weren't talking about WAP when it came. This WAP, I'll say that the new WAP we talked about a lot when it came out, but for anyone who's old enough to remember J Dash in 2010, we weren't giving him that much attention then. Unfortunately, I don't want to give him that much attention now. So I'm ready. I'm ready to move on. This
Oh
song
my
at number
god.
9, "I'll Be Around," CeeLo featuring Timbaland.
Mm-hmm.
This is another song that this chart is for. Like, I think this song is going to chart well on the actual Hot 100. I think it's getting that slow burn, but you look at this, this chart's only been around for 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
I would guess this is the biggest climber in the history of this chart to this point. Last week at
42
number
to number 9,
42,
baby.
yeah, this week at number 9, and that kind of matches what I've seen online. This song has been the background music of a lot of videos,
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of different type of videos. So I think that I think is the tell of a song being big on this chart is, are people using your music in their videos, and is it all different kinds of videos? I
Right.
think that is probably the biggest thing. Obviously, if you corner a market like the Repo Man did,
Yeah.
that can do you pretty well. But I think if your song can be, in DIY videos and cooking videos
Mm-hmm.
and highlights, that is where you're really gonna make your money. So a big shout out to CeeLo and Timbaland. I'd say probably two of the older artists on this chart so
Yeah.
far, and probably two of the older artists on the chart in general. Obviously, the Charlie Wilson on here later on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to talk about that, but to see two older, artists make the TikTok top 50 and
Yeah.
rise on the chart too,
Yeah. You know why?
massive.
Is because I don't know if you've seen, but the Baltimore strut thing that is
Mm-hmm.
happening right now. This is the song that is playing for that, for the tutorials, for the actual dance. So that's what happens. See, like you can just become, and I don't even think the Baltimore strut like dance is even that hot on TikTok right now. But just
I don't know. I don't think so.
yeah, but the fact that it is the theme song for a dance, like that's it. Like it's the theme song for a dance, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of enough to just bring it to it. I mean, it's a good song. Don't get me
You,
wrong, it's a
you
great
you
song.
think that's what it is mostly? Because I think it's the other thing. I've been seeing this, like, people are doing TIFF recaps and using this as their background music. I'm seeing people
Right.
do like get ready with me videos, and this is
Okay, there's that
like,
too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would say there's that as well, right?
Hmm.
Like those two things in combination, but the dance definitely helps. I mean, we're talking about
Yes, for
TikTok.
sure.
The dance is definitely helping.
Yes, yes. TikTok loves dancing.
Um, okay. And then number 10, right? Daddy's Home by Usher.
Hmm.
Shout out to Usher, which we'll be talking about Usher actually later, later today. But shout out to Usher. He's making it back he's still on Billboard. The man is
Usher's back.
inescapable.
Usher's back.
The man is inescapable. He's got hits on hits, right? He can give you he can give you 20, but he can give you like 20 years of his shit. What was that thing from Rory and Ball? It's like, I know Usher can give you 20 years of hits, bro.
Hmm.
And I think that Usher, Daddy's Home, great track. Um, I'm not seeing this anywhere,
Hmm.
so I don't really know what is driving it, but it's back 13 years ago. I think that's one of the funniest things that if you just like pull up the song on YouTube or Spotify, you're like, wow, 15
Mm.
years ago, 13 years ago, 10 years ago. Like a lot of the
Amazing.
tracks are like from a long, long time ago.
Amazing. Yeah. I've seen it used in some like what would you call these videos? Like someone doing like a little skit and there's like
Mm-hmm.
some kind of sexual innuendo joke in there and then they play the song. That sort of thing. But
Right.
it's crazy to hear, this song and the Chrisette Michele song. These songs both sound better than most of the R&B that's being made today, 10 years
Oh,
ago. Yeah, for sure.
wow.
So I think that's what's interesting is if you think about a song like Daddy's Home, that was a huge song when it came out. That was well after Usher's prime. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the third wave of his career in a sense. And we haven't. No one has really even done that since, really. So
Mm-hmm.
that's it's crazy to see with this song being as big as it is. And I'll say this: like Usher is back in a way online that is unexpected. Unexpected. I
That's
think
putting it
like
lightly.
yeah, no, definitely unexpected. But we'll talk about Usher later. We'll save all
Mm-hmm.
our Usher thoughts for later.
Okay. So that's our top 10 on the TikTok top 10. We'll probably be doing it again, maybe, possibly.
Hmm. Yes, for sure.
Depending on how dynamic the list is, because if like it just like crystallizes and stays the same for like 3 weeks in a row, we're probably not gonna do that. But if
Hmm.
like there's things bouncing around, there's interesting happenings and such, we will tap into it because we've been joking about this concept for over a year, and now it's
Hmm.
actually a real thing. So like I feel like we kind of have to be we kind of
Have
have to
to.
follow it. Maybe the segment will be shorter. Maybe the segment will be
100%.
shorter, something like that.
100%.
We're gonna toy around with it, but we're gonna be back on this because I find it like it's basically like a temperature check on music culture, like on the internet, which is where
Hmm.
music is right now.
Hmm.
So we can see something. If we saw something go number one on the TikTok charts and then that person's starting to explode elsewhere, you'd be like, well, if you're paying attention to the TikTok charts, you knew this shit was hot, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the top 10. We're only gonna do the top 10. Because if we go like deep down, then we're looking at songs like Peaches and Eggplants by Young Nudie and 21 Savage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say going forward, we're not gonna go as in depth
In
for
depth.
sure. It will
Yeah.
just definitely be just highlights. Before we talk about Drake and Charlamagne, who are having
Mm-hmm.
their own little internet moment,
Oh my god.
Taylor Swift has 9 entries on the TikTok top 50. Obviously, we didn't mention her; she was not in the top 10,
Yeah.
but sorry, 8 entries on the top 50. So we're talking about who's who and who's what.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor's one of those people. I'll talk about her later. Drake and Charlamagne
Mm-hmm.
going at it. I don't know if you saw the clip that why Drake is mad, but Charlamagne basically was saying he's seeing no one talk about Slime You Out. He's like, no one's
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. It's not a hit song. It's not, in people's mouths. We talked about Slime You Out. We shared our thoughts and wants to hear that. Head to our sound bites last week.
Mm-hmm.
We had some choice words for it. And Drake didn't like Charlamagne's take of no one's talking about the song. But anyone who knows about this beef they have, it's been going on for years. This is not
Yeah.
the first time they've done this. Drake posted a few pictures of Charlamagne um on his story, which I thought was so interesting. It's like, we talk about all the biggest artists in the world like having handlers for their social media,
Hmm.
and it's like we know Drake is the one who posts everything on his page for years now. But I thought that's pretty interesting. But two things I wanted to highlight from that is Drake saying Charlamagne has 435 fans.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. We talked about Charlamagne on the Complex top, I think it was 30 hip hop, it's not celebrity hip
Yeah,
hop
the most
interview where he about
influential or
journalists,
something like that. Yeah.
and he was in the top five. So that's pretty funny. He's one of the biggest at what he does.
Hmm.
And then Charlamagne had this quote in his video where he said, "There's three sexualities: gay, straight, and Drake."
Hmm.
Which I was like, sure. Well, I didn't know people were still making those jokes with Drake,
Yeah.
but Drake kind of turned that joke on him, which I thought was pretty interesting. But
Hmm.
what do you think about this little thing going on? Like, I know Charlamagne responded. I don't saw Charlamagne respond. Charlamagne responded actually to Drake, kind of being like, Drake always hits me up for the rollout. This is planned, and
Yeah.
obviously everyone knew that was a lie. So, what do you think? What do you think about this? Because I know you're not really big on this whole beef between the two of them.
Yeah. I think for Charlemagne, any sort of interaction with Drake is a plus, right? He's a media personality. So beefing with Drake, that helps media personality, that helps his profile, right? Helps his relevancy, all that good stuff. His like Drake's portion of this beef, I feel like he just feels personal animosity towards Charlemagne. Like it's not anything like I before I was like, oh, the beef is probably more real for Charlemagne and like whatever for Drake. But now I'm actually flipping on that stance where I feel like Drake legitimately hates Charlemagne, like actually hates this guy, and Charlemagne is just like prodding him multiple times on purpose. But I think overall the beef is so inconsequential. Like it's such not inconsequential. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's 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 not worth Drake's time in any way. That's why I'm like, it has to be personal. Like it has to be. It has to be like personal in the way where he like just actually despises Charlemagne because it's not worth wasting his time at all. Like there's nothing, there's zero, literally zero to gain. Like actually none. There's nothing to gain in beefing Charlemagne. So I don't. It doesn't make any other sense than like he just legitimately hates this guy, which is like, who cares, bro? Like there's so many more interesting things happening in Drake's life. I don't understand why he's wasting time with this, and I don't understand why everybody like it. Just like why are we doing this? Like that's where I am. I think why are we doing this on a grand scale?
Why is what I'm asking Charlamagne, because Charlamagne's been getting at Drake for over a decade now.
Hmm.
This time wasn't as bad, I would say. Like, also that little like sexuality joke in there, and
Hmm.
but the stuff he said about Drake in the past was outlandish. And
Right.
he's definitely been known to like bring up Drake's name to bash Drake when no one's talking about Drake. If you heard Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club or on his podcast, he's done
Yeah.
that several times where Drake is barely involved in the conversation and he'll just go off
Hmm.
about how he feels about Drake. And so I understand from Drake's perspective. To me, I'm more questioning Charlamagne of like, no, this time wasn't as bad for sure. It was more he was just saying his piece and got a
Hmm.
little carried away. But
Hmm.
my question is, why does Charlamagne have such an obsession with Drake to bash him? I think it's part of what I've always asked. And Charlamagne's too old to be part of the internet era to behave like this. But on the internet, everyone spends so much time and energy talking about the things they don't like.
Yep.
If someone talks about something they do like, they'll talk about it calmly. Something they don't like, way more passion, way more energy. And this is, Charlamagne's an example of it right here. So that's the thing is to me is like, if you don't like Drake, you don't gotta talk about Drake all the time. You don't gotta always do that, because I think that is part of it. Is like, we're in the industry, we understand if we were going out of our way to take shots at a certain artist, every single day, every single time, that would be wild. We're not those type of people, but that would be outlandish. And so I feel like there is some kind of validity to Drake's being upset, but I also feel like, the public embarrassment he tried to,
Hmm.
do with Charlamagne, like, sure, it's funny,
Yep.
Um, but and I guess my thing
Is
is,
it even? I
I don't.
don't even know if it's funny though. Like it's kind of like again, we're
Well,
doing
his
this
thing,
again.
I don't know what the solution is. It's kind of like let's go back to Top Boy. It's kind of like Sully killing off everyone in Summer House, and
Right.
Stefan going, "We got to do something. He killed your dad. He killed my brother." Like,
Yeah.
like Charlamagne. And I'm sure there's more behind the scenes we don't know, but Charlamagne is making it a point to talking bad about Drake, talking down on Drake. And I guess what we are saying we want Drake to do is do nothing about it. I guess that's what we're expecting, what we're asking for.
Yeah.
But Drake's a human like the rest of us, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. You can only talk something bad times about me before I do something. So I kind of feel him in this sense where it's like it is kind of unfair. Like we're saying, Drake, listen, Charlamagne can diss you as many times as you want. Don't react. Don't react. And I feel like as a human, you can't ask anyone to do that. I can't take shots at DeMar 18 times a day and say, DeMar, if you react, you're the crazy one here. You
Yeah.
know, don't do nothing. So I don't think this is the answer, but I don't know what the actual proper way to handle this is because I don't think Charlamagne's gonna not get at Drake again because Drake posted a picture of him on his story. I don't think that's gonna solve it. I don't think Charlamagne's gonna go into hiding because
Yeah.
Drake posted a couple of jokes. So I don't know what the real solution to this is, but I do think we're being unfair to say that Charlamagne is okay to criticize Drake in any way he wants, and Drake is not supposed to react at all.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm really criticizing Drake. I'm just more of like, if I were his friend, I'd be like, bro, it's like, dude, the shit is not worth it, bro. Like, it's just not worth it. I just think it's not worth the time. It's not worth the social media space. Like, it's just kind of
So you're the turn the other cheek guy.
not
Let's say
even. I'm just like, this.
I'm saying put you in Drake's shoes. I've been getting at you on a public platform, making jokes that are not even music related
Mhm.
towards you for 15 years. You're just cool with that? Like,
If it were me, I
yes.
think this is probably the best way to go after it. It's like, if it were me and I were Drake, I would just post, this is what I would post. Right. I would respond, but this is what I would post. You have made your entire career talking about me. If I were to disappear, you would be homeless. Stop
Okay.
talking about me. Right. And that would be the end of it. Because I don't need like like Charlemagne feeds off Drake's existence. And this entire
Mm-hmm.
bullshit is because Drake even exists. Drake didn't exist. You me do shit, right? You spent so much of your life and energy talking about Drake, you would be nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you weren't spending all this time dissing him, what like you would have to actually be doing like legitimate
Yeah, what would
shit.
you be doing?
Yeah, so that's what I would, if I were Drake, that's what I would say, and I would literally never respond to him again. I wouldn't even fucking, if you try to call my phone, I wouldn't even answer that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would never make an appearance, anything associated with Charlemagne. I'd actually make a point where I'm like, I'm not coming to shit if Charlemagne's there. And
I,
I'm like,
I
I'm
feel
going
like
to
he's probably
blackball
doing.
you.
I feel like he's probably already doing that.
Yeah.
Like
Like if
yeah.
Charlemagne's there, it's like I'm coming if Charlemagne's not there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, for
that's
sure.
what how I'd be framing it.
It's kind of like Nicki and Hot 97 thing when Nicki was beefing with Rosenberg.
Yeah.
That was a stipulation that she had of like, yeah, I'm not going to know Hot 97 anything if Rosenberg is
Yeah.
going to be there. So I feel like Drake probably has a similar stipulation because I haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen them in the same room
Yeah, me
since,
neither.
since ever. So I'm sure Drake's already doing that. But I why I thought this was interesting was because of how everyone is talking about it. Like some people don't think it's real, some people don't care, some people Drake shouldn't be doing this. Some people are like, "Oh, Drake is so funny." It's like
Mm-hmm.
there's not one way of thinking we have here. It's like everyone is all over the place. But I just go back to that way of thinking of, I've mentioned this guy before. Think about when Drake sent in the bottles and said, like Charlamagne, I see the light in darkest patches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this
That
is
shit
not
was
this
crazy. I cannot
that's
believe
a
that.
crazy bar. But it's like this stuff is not ending anytime soon. And maybe I'm making think of this as too much of real life and it's all
Mm-hmm.
and what they're doing is all entertainment. But again, how many times can someone say something about you and you not say anything back? Because in hip hop, at least, that's not really what happens.
Right.
If you shoot at someone in any way, shape, or form, someone's gonna respond in some way. So I guess this is just Drake being hip hop about it, but I feel like Drake brought more attention to what Charlamagne said because
Yeah,
I hadn't seen what Charlamagne said until Drake was, posting about it.
yeah,
And
and
so I think, yeah, go ahead.
and I'm like, I guess this is promo for the album. I guess. I guess like
But do we need this promo though? Like,
I'm just saying, I'm like, if I'm from Jake's perspective, I'm like, okay, well, we can engage because it'll be promo for the album. But I'm like,
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like, we don't need. Yeah, I'm with you. He doesn't need to do this, but at the same time, I'm like, what is the solution? Because Charlamagne is clearly dedicated to talking about Drake at all times. So yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'm very confused.
I don't
Let's
know.
let's let's let's
I
move
feel
on.
exasperated, but one thing I do not feel exasperated by, I'm actually
Mm.
energized by this, is Usher doing the Super Bowl.
Usher,
Okay.
baby.
Yo, I cannot wait for Yeah to come on when this guy is dancing on stage because that shit's gonna be lit.
Ludacris better come out.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, that's the thing with Justin, or I was gonna say Justin Bieber. No, but I'm gonna mention Justin Bieber. I'm gonna mention Justin Bieber. That's why. That's the thing with
Mhm.
Usher is that he's got really good and interesting features. People like Justin Bieber, right? Ludacris, like T-Pain, like like anybody can pop up at this show, you know?
Mhm.
So that's why I'm actually super excited. I'm like, what happens if Ludacris pops up and we're doing some Yeah, or like what happens if we have a T-Pain, like Justin Bieber, what happened in Justin Bieber? Does that show for a song? That should be
Here,
crazy.
here's what I think. I don't know. I think Ludacris is probably the only one of that group who will show up because yeah, it's one of his biggest songs.
Mm-hmm.
That Ludacris verse, a lot of people know it. You're gonna get, a lot of middle-aged mothers
Mm-hmm.
rapping Ludacris at double speed. And but I think some of his other features are the kind of songs that he'll do at the Super Bowl. And that's what I've been thinking about a lot is like what will his set list look like doing the Super Bowl? And I feel like his set list is gonna have probably a lot slower songs than you usually see at a Super Bowl. I think about when Rihanna did it last year. She ended with Diamonds. I think she did what's that kind of dancey song she has? But it was more upbeat songs. A lot of Usher's best songs are slower.
Yeah.
Confessions, Burn, even
But
Nice and
I feel like he
Slow.
can let those rock. I feel like those can go up on the stage though.
I think they will too. So I think he's gonna do those, but many of those don't have features, and so
Right.
there isn't like he's not gonna do some of his features which are less big, less good songs
Mm-hmm.
just to bring so and so on stage. I think what's more likely is, he did go war to war with Justin Timberlake
Yeah.
for the rights to Justin Bieber. Maybe Bieber just comes on stage and does a complete, not even an Usher song, just
Right.
welcome Justin Bieber, and he just does what song would Justin Bieber even do? That's a good question. But
I would
I
love for
do
him to do
I
Baby. Oh my god, that would be so
Baby's what
funny.
I'm thinking of too.
I
Lucas
would
is
be
already
dying if he did
there.
that.
But I think Usher's gonna kill it, man. I think a big part of this too is the Super Bowl is gonna be happening in Vegas next year.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Vegas doing his residency. I think there's some kind of synergy there,
Yeah.
of him doing that. And Usher is one of the best performers, we have in this business. So I'm very excited to see what he does.
Yeah, me too. Usher is legend, legacy act, but legitimate legend in the R&B space and pop space. And he also has like, the newer pop songs like in the
Mm,
2010s that were also
yeah.
like
Oh my
they were
God.
good for the time, but extremely dated. You would not catch a single soul playing the 2010s Usher song right now. You
Daddy's Home is on the chart, man.
and
Daddy's Home is on the chart. Like,
that was 15 years ago. That was in the early 2000s. That was in the 2000s, not the 2010s.
okay, fair enough. Technically not.
Right, technically not.
Um,
I just think that but again, they were good but dated. Like seriously, those songs are so 2010. It's like not even like
I-
it's kind of hard to even describe
he's gonna
how.
have some No Limit
Yeah.
with him and Young Thug. that song he has with Chris Brown. I can't remember the name of it, but everyone loves that song.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Usher,
he has some newer stuff to do.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like OMG, like oh my God,
I don't want to hear that, but I
that's
know he's
going
gonna
on,
play
bro.
it. I
But
know he's gonna
again,
play it,
extremely
but
dated.
I hate that song.
That's what I was saying. 2010, extremely dated, but that song is banging at the Super Bowl. It's going up at the Super Bowl. Like you can hate it how much you will hate it,
No, it's
but
I know he's gonna play it. I know he's gonna play it. There's no way around that. He's definitely gonna play it. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
I'd rather he not, but he's
DJ got
going
us
to.
falling in love on the dance floor. Come on.
We're not that's if he plays that, we might have to trade Usher from the black community. I think like oh my god is just the one. You get oh my gosh. That's
It has
you
Will
can
I
have
Am as a
that.
feature.
Will I am underrated. But anyways, you can't go deep into that bag. We like we need to have Usher on the like you don't have to call, confessions type of vibe. Like I think that's the place to go with it for sure. For sure.
Let it burn. But I want to do like Let It Burn and oh
That's
my
what I'm
god.
saying.
Oh my god, I'm actually crying.
Like let it burn, you make me wanna
Yeah.
like
Confessions even maybe about caught up.
he's definitely performing confessions. I think that would be the most surprising song if he didn't perform that. I'd be like, whoa, like
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I think
confessions, maybe even caught up. Like there's a lot of songs. I think that
Caught Up's a good one too. Yeah.
yeah, I think in the 2020s because Usher has been going for a long time since like the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we are not really dialed into Usher in the 2020s. I think that Usher kind of like
You think
not
so?
outside of the chart that we were just talking about, like previous to like the past like 2 weeks, who's talking about Usher?
I think you hanging
Like
out with the
Kiki
wrong
Palmer?
people for
Like
sure.
Kiki Palmer
You
talking
hang,
about Usher, but like
you hanging out with the wrong people. People still talking about Usher for sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Usher songs play every day. That's I think Usher is legacy of legacy artists.
yeah, I
There's
agree.
a millions of people who listen to Usher every single day to this day. His Las Vegas residency is on it's kind of it's on its own Drake cycle. You know how every other day you see some videos from a Drake concert, since
Mm-hmm,
he's on tour. Usher is having a lot of that same, I guess online engagement. He just was there with Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade,
mm-hmm.
and there's a whole thing about he's going to see Gabrielle Union and didn't. So I think you're hanging out with a certain group of people. I don't want to say anything about that group,
Oh
but we
my
can
god.
kind of guess what they're about. But Usher definitely still being talked about in the
Mm-hmm.
mix, for sure, for sure.
He's in
That's
the mix. We'll say he's in the mix.
yes.
I don't know. I just feel like his music is not like part of the zeitgeist right now. Like outside of the Kiki Palmer situation,
But
pre
here's the thing:
Kiki Palmer.
you also were trying to claim that mad Olivia Rodrigo fans. So all Olivia Rodrigo fans, I'm sure they're not playing Usher, but adults who are our age are listening to Usher every day. So,
I'm not banging Usher every day, bro. I grew up when Usher was coming out, and I'm not banging Usher every day. That's not what I'm
but I
doing.
think you're in a different group, man. You're in a different group.
Oh my god.
Your
Okay.
group is probably listening to more Taylor Swift
No,
than
don't
Usher.
don't do that. Don't do that.
It's
Don't do
true.
that.
You just said Usher's not like around at all. Like Usher's
No,
on is like in my algorithm way more than I would like. Like
Usher. Usher.
yes,
Seriously,
this is
Usher
what I'm
is like
saying. Like
not
you're
even
whoever you're
close to
hanging
my
with, man.
algo. Not even close to my algo. You know what the thing is on even on
Mhm.
Spotify, when they do the Wrapped,
Yeah.
and then it gives you like they like describe your like music taste. Mine is like
Hmm.
early adopter, right? Because I'm always listening to new
So to
stuff.
someone before they pop, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe there's also that where I'm just like, why the fuck am I listening to Usher? I gotta find out who's popping off next, Like
That's
who else, for example,
mhm.
who the fuck do you know that listens to Ash Bex? Did you even like Ash
My,
Bex?
my brother listened to Ash Bex. Well, my brother's maybe alone who listens to
But your
UK
brother's
rap.
like
Like,
16, bro.
yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
I'm here on still trying to find the new shit. I'm with the young people still trying to find new shit. I'm not, I can't tell you the last time I was listening to
I'm
Lil Jon. Like I was not
Lil
listening to Lil
Jon is
Jon recently.
crazy. Lil Jon is crazy. Lil Jon is crazy. Lil Jon would be going too far. Like if you
I'm
got
not
Lil
listening to
Jon
Chingy.
banging in your
Chingy, I'm not listening to Chingy
speakers,
on the regular.
you can't put Usher in the same group with those guys. That's a little
You know,
disrespectful.
I'm not listening
Yeah,
to. I don't really listen to 50 Cent that frequently.
you're look at the guys you're naming. Like
50 Cent and Usher are in this. Come on, bro.
Usher had a whole career 10 years after 50 Cent stopped being popular. That's a
But
whole different ballgame. 50 Cent
but
was
it's
good,
still.
was popular for like 6 years. Usher has 20 years of relevance. That's a very different thing.
Regardless, I am not. I'm not turning the dial back to mid to early 2000s very frequently in my music listening. I'm
I'm
trying to
very
keep it
aware.
current very frequently. I think
I'm very aware.
I'm trying to keep it current. 2020s, late 2010s, most of the time. So,
Yeah, I feel like, and this will maybe go into our next topic, but I always think about how we treat music now that we have streaming.
mhm,
And I'm like, the music is newer. We love to love new music. Something being new will always be exciting,
mhm,
but the music isn't always better. And having streaming, we have this opportunity to listen to what's better in the first place. I
right.
saw this video where someone was like, "This is emotional Kanye. This is Kanye. If you wore this is this type of Kanye. This is that type of Kanye." And it's like you can listen to the actual Kanye if you want. Like you don't gotta
Yeah.
listen to all the Kanye repeats. And so, I think a lot of people we talked about on this podcast fit into that mold of like they're probably still the best to do that sound,
Mhm.
but someone new doing it can still be exciting, but they haven't done it better than who did it the first time. So
Right.
I'll put Usher in that category, and we wish him a great Super Bowl. I think everyone's gonna be excited for this one because last year with Rihanna being pregnant,
Mhm.
that whole side of the internet
That was
had a
still fun
problem
though.
with that.
Some people, yeah, there was a segment
we're
of
we're not on
people
that
that
side of the
we,
internet, so
yeah,
we loved it. But that this side of the internet, you
yeah,
know who you are, had a whole problem with it.
yeah,
Listen, Rihanna could have sang on a hospital bed. I would have been
yeah, and
okay with it.
it would have people would have been like, "Yo, that was so sick." She was in a hospital bed and she was singing. That's crazy. So yeah, we wish him a happy Super Bowl performance. That Super Bowl is probably going to be like one of the craziest ones because the Chiefs are actually like really good this year, and Travis Kelce, second
Mm-hmm.
greatest tight end of all time, is also dating Taylor Swift allegedly.
Did I hear that correctly?
He's also dating Taylor Swift allegedly, and one of the
No,
funniest.
second greatest tight end of all time. That's what I'm referring to.
Yes,
No. Go keep going.
it's Gronk and then him.
No, I don't disagree with you. I like that you threw that in there. I like
Oh,
that.
okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. She, I mean, he basically he attended her concert, sent her a friendship bracelet, right? Put the ball in her court, as he said, and then 2 weeks later or a week later, she is now showing up in the box with his family. By the way,
Wait, was that 2 weeks ago that happened?
with the bracelet thing,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. It
Wow,
was
I
like
did
a
not
week
know
or
that
two
was
weeks
two
ago.
weeks ago. I thought that was like a month and a bit ago. That's wild.
Maybe it was longer, but it feels like 2 weeks ago.
All
And
right.
now she's in the box with Travis Kelce's family, like mom,
Mm-hmm.
cheering him on in this Chiefs win against the Bears. Bears are terrible. So he kind of juiced it a little bit. Game recognized game. I saw that.
Bring her to the game. You know you're gonna win.
Yeah, you're not gonna be bringing her when you're playing the fucking Eagles.
No, one
Not
hundred
when you're playing
percent.
the Dolphins, but when you're playing the Bears, okay, like she can come to that one.
That's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah. So,
Oh man.
um, but you know what? The reason why I wanted to bring this up, first of all, it's just funny. This is a funny scenario, right? Like, can you imagine if like I don't know, like if Drake was like dating like Anna Learman, right, or something like that. Like,
Wow.
I think that would just be like one of the funniest things ever.
Drake
So
and
I just
Skylar
think that this
Diggins.
is a funny interaction. Taylor Swift, hottest artist right now. I would say she's the hottest artist right now. Her concert is just like her and Beyonce right now are
Mm-hmm.
going for bar in the concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously feeding two different demographics.
Yep.
And I think that yeah, it's a funny interaction. Also, like you're getting to see like how powerful the Taylor Swift engine really is. Where
Mhm.
she appears at an NFL game, this is all anybody. What was the score in the Chiefs Bears game?
Nobody knows.
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows the score, but everybody knows Taylor Swift was there. There's even on the NFL, or was it the CBS TikTok for the NFL? You know how they post the score to every game, right? And they usually give you like an
Yeah.
action shot of like the players that won. It was literally just a picture of Taylor Swift saying "Let's fucking go," and the score.
That was a good moment though. Oh.
That's so funny. Oh, so it's funny to see the way that like as soon as Taylor Swift exists in that realm, it's like a blow up, right? She is grabbing she's got, teenage girls, 20 something year old girls, millennial girls, right? Older women, right? And then with the concerts, she is dragged in older men because they're bringing their teenage daughter to the concert, right?
Mhm.
The boyfriend who is
Yeah.
bringing their girlfriend to the concert, husband, etc. And now she's at the NFL game, so she kind of just like, even if just in the most cynical view of anything that's
Mhm.
happening, she is like pulling all the demos right to her, right? And
I don't know about all the
appearing,
demos, but
not all the
yes.
demos, okay?
Mhm.
We're doing these people, the caucus, they're from the Caucasus, right?
Yes. Okay. I
Those people
make sure
are
make sure someone said it.
she
She's
is
pulling in all the white
she's
people.
drawing on those demos. There's like a
Every
lot of
shade
people,
of
by the
white
way.
person.
She's yeah, she's drawing on that demo, and she's trying to
Mm,
like grab every form of it, basically, right? And
mhm,
appearing at an NFL game, whether or not this thing with Travis Kelce is a real thing or not, is just her being able to also pull in these like older men into into the Taylor Swift verse. And everybody like,
mhm,
why is my daughter talking about like the Chiefs game? I don't understand what's going on. It's like, oh yeah, Taylor Swift was there. It's like, that's why you're watching the Chiefs. And like there's this whole like, so it's just like a weird but funny situation. I would say
mhm,
an excellent PR play for Taylor Swift. It's just a win. It's just a win. Like there's no losing in this scenario. It's just a win.
mhm.
So I would say her PR marketing department is an A+ for them. How do you feel
Yeah,
about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
Taylor's always had that ability to kind of blow something up. Like I would say that, that's why I always put Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Drake as like the holy trinity of artists
Mm-hmm,
because a lot of other artists are very popular, Rihanna, The Weeknd, but those three are the ones where if they like something or they do something or they show you something, it's out of here. And I
mm-hmm,
always think back to when I think it was Super Bass from Nicki Minaj, and Taylor Swift did like a video dancing to it, and she knew all the words. And Super Bass ended up becoming a huge song after that. But at that point, it was charting in the 70s. And after Taylor Swift put it on, and we know what happened with Super Bass, it
mm-hmm,
became this huge song. So just to see her flex that again, intentionally or not intentionally, is super cool. I want to do some fact checking because I was trying to find when this friendship bracelet story happened because
mm-hmm,
I was like, this I guess will lead to how much validity we feel about their partnership. It
mm-hmm.
was in early July, so
Okay.
a little more than
So a
two
little over a
weeks.
month. Yeah.
So they could have been somewhat, actually dating. Who the hell knows? But
Who
I
knows?
have some numbers.
Okay.
I call myself Mr. Stats this week because I'm
Yeah.
having all the stats for you. Now, this is Taylor Swift's impact after attending the Chiefs games.
Mm-hmm,
Travis Kelce's Instagram
mm-hmm.
up 20%, which is 500,000 new
Okay.
followers. If anyone knows, football players are not
Yeah. Not
super popular
follower
on
machines.
Instagram.
Yeah.
The NBA runs Instagram in that sense from a follower perspective. So this is huge for
Mm-hmm,
Travis. Now, another one, Kelsey jersey sales up 400% over the weekend. I don't know how
crazy.
many of y'all are mathematicians, but that's a lot of percentage. That's a,
5x.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, the Kelsey's podcast,
Mm-hmm.
#1 on Apple.
Mm.
So every which way you want to do it,
Yeah.
she's
The
helping out. And then last but not least, and I'm so happy, but this sneaker that she was wearing, the
Oh,
New
she was
Balance
right.
550s. If you know sneakers, you know of this shoe. Everyone's been wearing it. I myself don't have a pair for that exact reason. I'm not trying to wear the same shoe as everyone else. So Taylor Swift just made it very easy for me to not do that.
Oh
But
my god, she was wearing the 550s. No,
yes, so 550s are ruined now.
550s are over.
Yeah, 550s are going to be the new pandas. They were already kind of ruined to me. 550s are a shoe that I would absolutely never buy just because of everyone wearing them.
Right.
But they did not look bad on their own. But
Yeah, they were a cool
now,
shoe. I like the form factor of them was pretty cool.
now it's about to be game over.
Yeah, this is about to
And
become the Air Force One for white girls.
it is. And what I've realized about this whole thing with Taylor and Travis is, again, this idea, and this is a 2023 thing, a 2020s thing, of no one knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
That artist, that person who's just synonymous with every group, does not exist anymore. Because how is it possible that all these Taylor Swift fans were unaware of this shoe before Taylor wore it? This shoe has, tell me I'm wrong. This shoe has been literally everywhere the past year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, this shoe has probably gotten the biggest rise of any shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Adidas Sambas.
Yeah.
Those
Oh
guys
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
those have
What is
gotten
and
a
that's
push.
also a thing too. You just saw all of a sudden white women are wearing the sambas. It's like, yo, have you ever been to a soccer field in your entire life? Because people have been wearing that for shit
They
that
don't
shit for
even
years.
know that they don't even know about the history, man. They just see a shoe, and so that's what I realized is like the fact that this shoe was new to Taylor Swift fans
Mm-hmm.
was like, where are you on the internet that you're not seeing this shoe? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where could you possibly be on the internet that you're not seeing this shoe?
Dude,
And that's like,
there's a Cosmopolitan article found the New Balance that Taylor Swift wore to the last Chiefs game. Here's where you can buy this New Balance 550s. Fuck my life. It's
no,
actually over though.
it's
It's
crazy,
in Cosmopolitan, bro.
and and no, it's more than Cosmo, like Champs, Foot Locker, all these pages
Mm-hmm.
are, if you look at one of their Instagrams, their like latest posts are, here are the shoes Taylor wore, you can get them here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's way more than Cosmo. It's super done. It makes me think about kind of our online activity and our online behavior of people that's kind of doing what they're told, of like, okay, everyone's doing this now. This is what we're doing. The Sambas are a good example of that, because growing up, the Sambas were like a shoe you basically only wore if you played soccer. Like,
Yeah.
the soccer players, that was their shoe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like, okay, I can like play soccer anytime type deal,
Yes.
indoor, outdoor. To see these now, absolutely crazy. The
Mm-hmm.
550s, the New Balance 550s, they're going down that same road because, a bunch of people are going to buy this shoe just off the strength of Taylor wearing the shoe, off the strength of Cosmo told them to buy the shoe. And, it's kind of, I guess I knew, and I always knew people behaved like this, but to see this on a mass scale is like, is there not a bit of shame in,
Are you not
in buying
embarrassed?
this shoe? Yeah, like, if you're someone who's buying the 550 in the same Taylor Swift colorway after you saw her wear it,
Mm-hmm.
don't you have a little bit of shame
Mm-hmm.
in that
Individuality.
decision? Yeah, and if you don't, listen, live your truth, live your lies, love
Mm-hmm.
yourself. But that's my takeaway from this is like, clearly we got to bring shame back. Because
Oh
these
my god.
550s, man, I don't know. I
See,
don't
you were
know.
look at you and see you were all about. When I brought this up, you're like, oh, do we have to talk about this? I told you this shit is funny as hell, man. I
It no, it no, it is funny as hell for sure. It's funny as hell for sure. All I keep thinking about is like how sheltered some of these like fan bases are,
Mhm.
and some of these groups of people are, because Taylor Swift's audience is huge.
Yeah,
It's not like 30,000 people are sheltered. This is millions of people who are sheltered. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
And clearly they're on the internet, because I don't think everyone was watching this game and saw this. They saw
yeah,
Taylor with Travis from the internet. So they're
yeah,
clearly on the internet, but still clearly sheltered. So it's just, I think that's a great, great mix we have right there.
yeah. So 550s right now. You heard it first on album mode. Dead. 550s are done. Okay, like
I'm
as
I'm
soon as
surprised. I'm surprised you don't have a pair. The same way I'm surprised that you don't have a tote bag. I'm
yeah.
surprised you don't have a pair of 550s.
Why does why does everybody just think I'm a TikTok machine? Like I exist outside of TikTok, guys.
Yeah, but
Like,
you're dedicated to the young people. You're always saying you're trying to be in with you're like that. You're like that uncle who's like, yeah, I'll listen to what you guys listen to. Like
okay, first of all,
that seems that,
first of all, first
I
of
think
all,
that's like part of your mission.
first
Like,
of all, you're talking to me like I'm like 45-year-old man. I like I said, I didn't just graduate from Ryerson, or sorry, TMU a year ago, literally a year
mhm.
ago I graduated from. Um, but yeah, I think that I think one of my closest friends actually has a pair of 550s, and they look great. And
Everybody does.
I had thought about purchasing them myself. But
It's
I
not too
think I'm
late.
gonna. Yeah, no,
It's not too late.
it is no, it is too late. What are you talking about? It's too late. There's definitely, and
Ah,
the thing that breaks my heart personally is that you got it in red and white, and as everybody knows, red is my favorite color.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm
It's
not
not
on the
too
Taylor Swift thing.
late. Come
I'm not doing it.
on.
I'm not
Who
doing it.
cares? Just
Too
get
late.
them. Just
Too
get
late. I'm not a
them.
follower like that. I got my own shit. I got my own shit.
Uh,
Um, but so
listen, leave
yeah,
a
so
comment. If you have the 550, you know someone who does, leave a comment. I feel like that this would be the most comments we've ever gotten because
yeah,
all y'all have them.
if you have 550s or you know somebody that has 550s, are they still going to be wearing them after this Taylor Swift thing? Okay, so shout out to the Chiefs. I
Mm-hmm.
want them to win this year, just because I enjoy watching the Chiefs play football.
All right, we're on the same
And
page.
I guess I'm cheering for Travis Kelce. I just want to say for Travis Kelce, this is a come up. This is a big come up, bro.
Telling a two-time Super Bowl champion that dating a woman is a come up is
This is
crazy.
a come up. Dating Taylor Swift is a come up. There's very few other women that you could date that are bringing you
Oh
past Taylor
man,
Swift
this is not
on the
the
come up
podcast for that, but
on
there's
the
a
come
part
up
of
scale.
it that is saying he's actually, regressing
I
in the woman he's choosing. I'm sure you
that's
haven't
I
seen
yeah,
that.
I feel like, you know what, we're gonna leave that there. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
say,
yeah.
if you're from whoever you're dating, unless you're going from like Rihanna, anybody you're dating to go to Taylor Swift is probably going to be a come up for you. Come up financially, social status wise. The type of vacation you're gonna be taking is gonna be a lot different. I know that right now. The vacation that
Mm,
Travis Kelce took this summer versus the one he's taking next summer is going to be very different,
I super disagree
strictly
with
because
that,
he's
but
dating Taylor Swift.
continue.
Huh?
Maybe more security, but he can
Yeah,
afford to go all the same places she can.
I agree. But I think instead of the doors being silver plated, they're probably gonna be diamond encrusted. How about that? To the places that she's going to. Like, it's a little different.
That's funny.
So yeah, so that's sound bites for today. A more fun one. A
Hmm.
more fun version of sound bites. But we still are getting into the nitty gritty because the TikTok charts are actually, again, I feel important.
Hmm.
But thank you everybody for tuning in today. If you're watching it on YouTube and you're watching us just like die of laughter here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening, if you're listening to the audio version, which shout out to the people that listen to the audio version. I listen to the audio version just like um I listen to our podcast, okay,
Hmm.
on a regular basis. And I listen to the audio version a lot of the time. Shout out to the people who are listening to the audio version with me. And make sure you leave a rating, 5 stars. 5 stars, not a single star less. Okay. We're trying to make sure
Hmm.
that we're maintaining our 5 star status. Okay. And I want to say thank you everybody for following, subscribing to anything on the socials at album mode on Instagram, at album mode on TikTok, or it's at album mode pod. Sorry, at album mode
Yep.
pod on Instagram, at album mode pod on TikTok, at album mode pod on Twitter. All of those social links will be in the description for the video and for the audio, so you don't even have to look them up. You don't go ahead and click them. Okay, I hooked that up for you. And I want to say thank you to everybody for listening again. So, Adriel, make sure you know yourself and know your worth.
Later days.